Have any real horror stories you can tell us about going into people's homes? Did you?
I can. I'll tell you the story about the straw that broke the camel's back. I can't believe I'm saying this in something that's going to be broadcast. VHS tapes of pornography all over the floor. There's a camera on a tripod set up in the corner facing the bed. And this guy's PC in the corner.
What would you say is the biggest learning that you took from Service Express in terms of people and leadership?
The biggest thing is not technology. It's focusing on people. That is truly what launched the success of that company. So when you have everybody trying to grow the company, not just one person at the top, a lot of great things happen from that.
What is your take on this whole, whether it's work-life balance or whatever you want to call it? I always refer to it as work-life integration.
Yeah, it's going to be different for everybody. I think everybody has a different tolerance for what that is. And I think you're absolutely right that what role you play in an organization dictates how much integration there is. In your role as an owner and CEO, I mean, you have an obligation to be available, right? And sometimes we take that hit so that our people don't have to give them more balance. I had a crazy thing happen to me as a result of a job change and the pandemic. So that previous year in that company was very stressful for me. I was completely out of my element. I had changed industries. I could feel it. I was changing. If you start thinking about your legacy and what you leave behind, that's not how I want to be remembered.
There has to be a level of transparency, and it's the same within an organization. If everybody that works in your organization believes that it's all rosy and that there's no problems, that gives a very different outlook. And it's one thing to mask things, it's quite another to lie to people.
When everybody knows that companies have problems, and if you are saying that everything is rosy and everything is great, everybody knows you're full of shit, right? But the beauty in talking about the problems is that they're not just your problem anymore. Like, talk about your problems with your teams, and now it's everybody's problem. And you might not have the answer, but they could.
So I'm curious, if you could turn the clock back, not that far, obviously, but to 5 minutes before you walked inside that motel room, 5 minutes before you knocked on the door, what would you tell your younger self about what the future looks like?
Just even thinking far enough in the future would have been a revelation. I was having the time of my life outside of work. I'm so fortunate. And I would have just said, get ready for the ride, because it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
How's it going? What does Distimax do? And why is it different?
Distimax was, selling parts to all the big third-party maintenance companies, except Service Express at that time. But he expressed an interest, and this is 5 years before I left Service Express. He expressed an interest in wanting to start a maintenance company, a third-party maintenance company. Now I'm helping him expand Distimax into the US, which is still the hardware sales business. And while we're doing that, we've also built a third-party maintenance company. And this is the first time that I'm saying this name to anybody else, because we literally just formed the business as a separate entity in Australia called Sterling Tech.
What does work and life look like for Pete in 18 years' time?
18 years from now, I want to have built an organization that has had a positive impact on as many lives as possible.
What's the Pete Terryn way?
Very simply, do the right thing.